Adil Mustafabekov.
Yep.
Is that right?
Yeah, it's pretty good.
Must have a bake-off.
Sale. Trademark.
AD. We call you AD.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's much easier to say. I felt like you don't really have to explain yourself when you're ordering coffee at Starbucks. It's like, what does Adil mean? I was like, I just want to get some
AD.
coffee.
Yeah,
AD.
everybody calls you AD.
Yeah.
Adil.
Yeah.
AD.
Adil, I get called Adil at work, actually, which at my old job, I used to be AD.
You're at Disney, right?
Yeah, now I'm at Disney. Back at Sony, I was known as AD. And then when I moved over, when I went to Disney, they're like, we'll just call you Adil. That's what you write. So, and kind of stuff.
It's very international, though, right? At Disney, or is it?
Oh yeah, big time. It's cool. We have a huge wall of a map, and people get to put pins where they're from, and it's all over the world. It's a beautiful thing. Yeah.
Do they get I guess contracts from Disney, like from different parts of the world, and then they get brought over?
I think sometime. I mean, I don't know much about that, but I know that we do have a program over there. It's like an apprenticeship, and during Moana, we had it was 3 students from Brazil.
Oh wow!
Yeah, so they came over as apprentices. They got to learn the Disney pipeline. Got to work on their own little, I believe it was a short, and then from there they move on and actually get to do real work on the film. So they got to work on Moana. Very talented kids. I mean, not kids, but younger than me. So I guess they're kids. Yeah,
That's cool, man.
Yeah.
You gave us a tour. I was able to. That was Professor Alexandre and my kids, right? Get a tour of Disney. That was really special. I mean,
thanks. Yeah.
Yeah, you're in Burbank, right?
Yeah, it's here in Burbank. I love the place. It's a beautiful,
iconic.
Yeah.
I think it was the first studio, right, in Burbank.
Yeah, you know what? I don't even know. I don't know the history
story
behind it. But when you came to visit, you actually came to visit the new building. When I started there, it was the old building before they remodeled, and it was kind of nice of Disney. They brought me on to work on Zootopia. And they hired me like about a month earlier than they needed to. So they wanted me to kind of experience that building before they demoed it and remodeled it inside. So I got to, work in the office space where all the legends have worked before. So that was really cool. It was really special and really, really nice of them to do that.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
Jiu-Jitsu brown belt now, right?
I think so.
MMA. You used to fight MMA with when you trained with Chad George.
Chad George, yeah. Boxing. I started off with boxing actually.
Okay.
Yeah.
But real martial artist, competitor, fighter.
I love it. Yeah.
And an artist.
Artist first. I guess artist. It's a different kind of I
had James Bias. He was on that Netflix show, right? West Side. And there was when he was a kid, he had a teacher that told him you have to choose between this acting thing or wrestling, and so he didn't think it could be both. So he's like, okay, I have to choose the acting thing, I guess.
Really, that's
and it kind of stayed with him for a long time. But now he's like, no, I can do both. And Professor Alexandre is a musician as well, and I don't know. We have a lot of artists here.
Yeah.
A lot of super crazy talented people.
I think it comes hand in hand. So far, I've trained at a lot of different places, and I have a lot of friends from different gyms, and there's a lot of artists. And it's not only artists as a painter, musicians, just anything. I mean, to me, form of art is almost everything. Photography,
creating, right?
Yeah, a lot of creative people, and I think it transfers. Like it goes hand in hand. Something about art, like they see things differently when it comes to jiu-jitsu, maybe, or to any different form of mixed martial arts. So it's How do you think it stimulates, or how do you think it helps with the creative process? Choking somebody out. Seriously, right? Yeah.
How does that work? How does it make you happy? And you go back to work. All these like guys from Disney. I mean, every studio, right?
It's
in the industry trains here. It seems like.
I think it's jiu-jitsu is a weird thing where, and I'll speak more on jiu-jitsu than MMA. I think MMA is a little bit more, or even any striking sport is a little bit more aggressive. To me, jiu-jitsu, what really changed the way I am as a human being. And it sounds very cultish, right? Like it sounds weird, but And my wife always wonders, like, how come you don't go to happy hours with friends after work? I'm like, my happy hour is here at the gym because I hang out with my friends here. Yeah, we don't have drinks, but we roll on the mat and then we just hang out for hours and just chat about random stuff, which is great.
I'm doing healthy things at the
Yeah,
same
and doing
time.
healthy things, yeah. So for me, I think jiu-jitsu was...
And you bring some of your friends in here, so
Yeah. I'm trying
get more people. Instead of going to happy hour, they come to jiu-jitsu.
Exactly. I'm trying to build a nice little squad of a bunch of random artists.
Which we have, right? Which we have, totally.
Yeah, I was actually just watching Mara at 10 Nogi class, and man, he's a blue belt now, which is amazing. And we ran into each other in the elevator at Disney. And he saw my cauliflower and he's like, "Oh, you train?" I'm like, "Yeah." He was like, "I was thinking of getting into it, you know." I'm like, "Come on, man, let's go. No pressure, just come."
He's Russian, right?
Yeah, he's Russian. Yeah. So, and then one day, like a month or two later, he came down to my office and he was like, "Okay, I'm doing it." And now, you know, now he's here. He's here more than I am, I think.
Competed in
and
Moscow,
competing
right?
Moscow, December 8th. I'm going to try to make it out there for him. So, yeah, it's really cool to see Chris Kerrigan, Johnny.
John, yeah.
My,
Medium John.
Yeah.
Partner in crime.
Yeah,
huh?
man.
All the
I love that
tournaments.
guy. Yeah.
You guys compete together. Compete together.
Yeah.
Lots of tournaments. Win. You know, it's really cool.
Win, lose,
Yeah.
travel.
I mean, you get, and then you had that last tournament you did. You had the flu.
Yeah. That wasn't fun.
You had the flu, and you know, you had the gi, and then you had the no gi. You know, and however the tournament, the rules were a little bit different, but you went from first to third because of points or something like that.
It was, yeah.
You could at first you won, right, and then they recalculated the points, and then it was 33 people in the bracket.
Yeah.
But anyway, like, of course you didn't feel good right out of the gate. You were like, man, but you still showed up.
Yeah. I paid. I gotta show up.
And then in the evening was the no-gi. So I think you competed around 2 or something like that, 2 or 3.
Which one?
The gi.
The gi was like at 12.
Oh wow!
I think
there
it was
we go.
earlier.
There we go.
It was a 5-hour difference.
And and then I had to leave. You know, I was like, I have to go to my family.
Well, yeah, you were there the whole since morning till.
And then you competed at night, and then I got the news and you won. You know, and I was like, oh my god, you did it.
There was a lot of pressure.
Well, not just you had the flu, but then at nighttime, when you're sick, like at nighttime it's even worse, right? And what's going through your mind? What were you thinking about? What got you through to pull it off, to win?
Well,
going on Michael Jordan feet.
Yeah,
playing with the flu.
Except I'm not a billionaire, but I'm trying to get there. I think it was actually just talking to you. You told me about your story back in the day when you competed, and you just had to go out there and just perform, and then you won, right?
Yeah.
So
the mindset. Started
Yeah.
telling myself, like, I believe in my technique.
Yeah. I think also I care. So the whole point of doing that 2 tournaments or 2 different gi and no gi in one day was because of no-gi, because of Worlds in Vegas, where I lost because of some stupid decisions I made.
Yeah.
And I was like, I got to come back. I didn't feel right, so I got to prove myself. So
a IBGF Master World.
Yeah. So my intention, the first match or the gi one is just like, okay, let me see how I could win it. I think I could get it. And the second match, I just didn't have it anymore. Like, I felt sick.
Yeah. I was there. So.
Yeah.
But you persevered. Yeah.
Yeah. And then
regardless.
And then I think I was like, I got nothing else to lose. Like, you know what? I'm already here. Let's just and you said it to me. You're already here. Just might as well. Because I was like, man, I should go. I was trying to talk my way out of it.
Yeah.
I think everybody does that no matter what.
Right. So what made you stay?
It was you. I think
Okay.
it was you. And it was like, you know what? What do I have to lose? This is all an experience. And just do it. And my teammates are there. Josiah was going to compete. There's a bunch of guys that were competing too. I was like, you know what? I'll still hang out, and Johnny and I stayed, and Johnny stayed, and I took a different approach to it. I took an approach that I didn't care about anything, just do it, and took it really slow because I didn't have that much energy left in the tank. So I've never competed, at least from what I remember in my head, I've never competed that slow in a no-gi competition. I slowed everything down, and I was very just cautious, not cautious, but very like meticulous, I guess.
Smart, tactical.
Yeah, and I think the second match was where I made a mistake in Worlds where I couldn't get out of the guy's guard. And when I came back, it was your pass that you taught me a long time ago, and I just forgot it in the Worlds. I used that one to actually open up the guy's guard pass, and I took his back. Yeah, so it was just like that bad experience or that loss that I had in Nogi Worlds helped me to win Nogi in a few months ago. Yeah, so
that was cool, man. That's really cool. It's etched in my memory, like the
thanks.
flu and overcoming. It's a big deal. It's a big deal.
I think
okay, maybe it's not like the IBJJF, that Master Worlds or one of those, but it's overcoming, right? And that's what it's about. It's the journey. It's the process. Yeah. So for me, I'm like, it's really cool. So when I saw that, I was like, oh yeah, you and John, right?
Yeah,
both winning, but especially you because you were sick.
Johnny won before me, and Chris goes, hey, John won, and I'm like, all right, I can't lose this. I'm like, all right, I already got second place. I gotta, one more match. So I just played my game. I think I changed up my game a lot for competitions, because before it was more about if I don't submit somebody, that means I don't win. And now I start looking at this game where it's a competition, so you gotta play the game, score your points, and then pass, and then if there's a submission, take it. If not, you just gotta work it. Yeah,
that's it. That's the so much.
Yeah, it makes a
big
difference. Yeah, it makes a big difference. I do like also competing for submission only,
of course. That's what jiu-jitsu is about.
Yeah,
right, at the end of the day.
Yeah.
So do you think it's in the mind? Do you think?
Yeah.
It's in the
mind? Definitely.
So much of it is in your mind, right?
Yeah. Because when you fought, you've done everything, right? So this that when you're on the mat, you have people support you. You have your coaches, your professors, but it's one-on-one. And if it was a real life situation, what would you do? Technically, if somebody chokes you or grabs your arm, they could break your arm. So when you're in that like fight or flight state of mind, you forget about everything else but just to survive.
Under stress.
Yeah. And it is in your mind, because once I got home, I fell apart, but it was fine because I fell apart as a gold medalist. I guess. It
only hurts if you lose, like in MMA. It only hurts if you lose. You get beat up, everything broken. But if you won, it's all good. It's only if you lose.
Yeah. MMA is
And you felt like
Yeah, it's okay.
Like crap, but
Yeah.
You won, so it's all good.
Yeah. I was like, all right, I'll get better.
To be proud of.
Yeah, you don't have to
What are the transfers to art for you? It's like, speaking of the mindset that we we're just talking about.
So what really helps me, first thing that helps me besides being a good artist is I have to deal with people on a daily basis, and deal not in a bad way. It's just I'm an introvert, so sometimes it's very difficult for me. Not difficult, it's just I'm shy, I get anxiety, just like every other person. But it really helps me with my communication with my supervisors, with my peers, and I also supervise at Disney, so I have a team that I have to make sure that I convey what my supervisors, our directors want to see. So it really helps me just be calm under pressure, which, some people may see, oh, well, what kind of pressure do you have at Disney? But there, you have to meet deadlines, and you have to make sure your directors are happy, your production designers are happy. So it just helps me be very calm when there's a crazy deadline. They need it now or whatever. We'll do it. You just got to stay calm yourself, and just be confident in your skill, because we are, you're professional artists, and you'll get it done. I try not to show, not weakness, but I try not to show that I'm like, oh, I want to meet the deadline, because then it's kind of like a domino effect, and then people will panic. So that helped me a lot, just in general.
It's so interesting how all those same things that you have to do on the mat.
Yeah.
If you show that you're tired on the mat, and somebody, in MMA also, right? If you show that you're tired, they feel it. and
gives
then
you
they
a boost
react.
of energy.
Right.
Oh my God, I love it.
Right when somebody else is tired.
Oh my God, when you grab onto somebody and you hear their heart beating faster than yours, or they have that sigh of like that.
He's mine.
Oh, and then you know you got him. It's it sounds kind of evil, but like, man.
But all those things are the same, right? Like staying calm under pressure.
Yeah.
You got to stay calm under pressure. You have to have the right mindset.
Yeah.
And it's interesting, right? It's like the same thing.
It's
everything that we do.
It's the same thing. People may see it different, but it's not. It is an art form. I see it as an art form because it translates into art so well, especially in what I like doing, what I've been doing lately. Very like angular, linear drawings.
Yeah.
Where that's how I see jiu-jitsu. It's like triangles and squares. I don't know. It's these weird shapes because most of the submissions look like shapes to me, or that's how I perceive it in my mind. So
you've been drawing like much of the guys here at Legacy, but jiu-jitsu guys all around the world, right?
It's so cool. Yeah.
So how did that happen? How did that come about?
So I was doing this thing called Ink October. It's a very common thing amongst the art community. And what it is for October month, you do a drawing a day with ink on paper. I did it digitally because it's just faster for me. And usually every day you get a topic, and the topic could be like ring or whatever words, right? And people try to draw that. I don't like drawing anything but jiu-jitsu or mixed martial arts. So
just like jiu-jitsu, huh?
Yeah, I'm obsessed. I'm obsessed, man.
Let's not beat around the bush.
Yeah. That's all you could ask my wife. She's like, you got to stop talking about this. Everything. It was like, oh, this reminds me of what I did in jiu-jitsu. And she's like, we're just having dinner. What are you talking about? Like, well, the way, the way to grab something. Anyway. So, yeah, and I was sitting home and I had a beer or two. And I was like, it would be a great idea for me to just draw every day for October month and do this little contest where I ask people to submit their drawing, their favorite jiu-jitsu, and I'll just quickly sketch it. It takes about an hour for me to do. It's a quick one. Some of them take longer, but yeah. And
I saw when I was getting coffee just now that you posted one of us.
Yeah. It's a special moment.
Did you do it this morning?
No, I did it. So I kind of plan ahead. Okay. So when I have free time at home, when I'm sitting on a couch, and let's say we're watching a TV show, I grab my iPad and I just start sketching and kind of prepare it for I did it on Monday and I finished it today.
Okay.
I did final touches and and then, so I was like, okay, I'm going to post it. I'll try to post every other day now. I'm still trying to get other guys that submitted in October. Even though the contest ended, I'm trying to make sure that everybody gets a picture. So
you love it.
Yeah, man.
And you love the community.
Oh man. Yeah. The people are great.
Yeah.
I stayed away from. I try to stay away from social media. I just don't like. I don't like to be in the light or whatever you want to call it. Not that I am, but there's a lot of negativity on there, and I swear to you, not a single person said anything negative. I thought somebody would, like, oh, this looks like this, but
it's all love, man. It's all love coming from you.
It's a beautiful thing. People are like hitting me up from Brazil. Speaking Portuguese, so I have to use Google Translate to talk back to them. And so that's really cool. Different countries, which is great, from Europe and all over the world. It's amazing. Everybody's just saying, hey, I just want to tell you I love your art. And keep doing this for the jiu-jitsu community. In a way, I'm doing it for, I don't want to sound selfish, doing it for myself because I enjoy it, but it's a beautiful thing. Like, everybody's inviting me to their gyms, which is amazing. It's so cool. Like, all the black belts, like, oh, there are a few gyms here in California. Like, oh, every time I come out, man, let's train, brother, this and that. I'm like,
cool.
Yeah, it's awesome. I love it. I love the people. Yeah, nothing negative. That's why I like jiu-jitsu. It's a very humbling, beautiful. I don't even call it sport. It's just a
way of life, right?
Yeah, it is. Yeah,
quality of life tool.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, it's interesting, right? All the friends, kind of everything. Which I've been immersed in it my whole life. But everybody that I have, like friends, and really my family, my wife, even, it's all because of jiu-jitsu. Yeah. So it's interesting.
Yeah. You tell me how you met your wife, because she was it was a while back, right? Because she was a designer.
Right, we went to Hicks and Gracie tournament.
Yeah.
Back in 2000, we came out to California. Yeah, from New Mexico.
Yeah,
that's really cool. Shandy was with me. He didn't speak any English at the time.
I love him, man. He's one of the coolest human beings I've ever met. There is no negativity when it comes to him. Just a nice guy, man. Yeah. Like every time I roll with him,
he'll fuck you up.
Oh yeah. It's great. Yeah.
Cowboy mount.
Yes. I like how he's every time he says armpit, he goes armpit, and everybody's like, he's like, did I say it right? And everybody's like, yeah, that's right. Just say armpit. It's perfect. Yeah.
He's a legend, man. He's
a
legend,
man.
Really. He has such a nice jiu-jitsu game. Really for jiu-jitsu, like submission, like dynamic. Yeah.
It's very there's a lot of finesse to it, but there's a lot of also like aggression that I like.
Yeah.
Aggressive, like they don't care about, not to say like cranks or anything, because he doesn't crank, but like I'm okay with all that stuff.
Yeah, like reverse arm bars, like you have to commit, right? And so
it's so good, and it makes me better. He whoops my ass.
Let's go back to your art. Okay. How did you start drawing? What made you want to get into it? Because when we went with my kids, you talked a little bit about how you told, was it your aunt, that you want to work at Disney when you're a kid?
Yeah.
So let's start at the beginning, I guess.
Yeah, I could. I'll tell you this quick story. I was thinking about it because I figured you probably would ask. But when I was maybe 3 or 4 years old, really long time ago, my aunt used to buy me gums, like gum, and it was in the gum they would have a little paper wrapper that had cartoons on it. And it was I think it was a Disney gum. I don't know. Maybe it was like
called Bazooka. What was it?
Yeah, like bazookas, but except it was. I remember it was a Donald Duck gum. So I really liked the way Donald Duck looked, and I took that wrapper, and I would not eat the gum because I would just look for the cartoons. I enjoyed the artwork. So there was a Donald Duck, and I would try to draw. It would took me months trying to not trace it, but like look at it and draw it. And I would practice, and I would never get it. And it was just constant practice. And I finally got it. And I think that's what...
How old are you when you started practicing?
Like 3 or 4, I don't remember. Wow. I was really young. This is right when we left Azerbaijan. So I believe I was already in Russia living with my aunt.
So you were born in Azerbaijan?
Baku.
Baku,
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and then we moved shortly after with the whole, the war that was going on between just politics.
Yeah. Your mom's Armenian, dad...
Yeah. He's half Azeri, half Russian. Yeah. So yeah, I drew that Donald Duck, and it was interesting. Then I stopped drawing him till forever, and then my English class in 11th grade. This is already in the States, right? So I'm already like 16 years old, and I was like, let me draw Donald Duck, and without looking at anything.
16 years old.
This is already 16 years old. Yeah, so I'm already living in the States.
12 years.
Yeah. And this is before I've been drawing from that time all on, but I was like, let me just try to draw him. And since I drew him so much, his face, that I remember how the lines worked, that my hand just drew him. Even without thinking. Like I could still draw him, his mouth, the way, and it was because
so ingrained in your brain.
Yeah, I practiced so much that I just, and to me it was surprising. And I never forgot that moment too, because I was like, wow.
Because you're so little, like so much of your life was dedicated
just
to that.
Yeah, that and the 3 little pigs. I used to love drawing the 3 little pigs and the bad wolf or whatever it was. Yeah. And I think that was the time where I really, like around 3 or 4 years old, that's when I started drawing, and that's how I really got into art. And I continued throughout the rest of my life, and loved art classes, went to art school. But yeah, when I was 14, maybe 13. I don't remember exactly when, but my aunt, like you were saying, my aunt, my mom's cousin, she was able to get a connection to Disney, and I was able to go to Disney, and I brought this huge sketchbook.
Disney, like the studios here? Or?
Disney Studios, where I work.
Wow.
Where I work, and I brought my artwork, and it sucked. Like I was just, still trying, working at it. And what was great about the people there at that time, and I wish I remember their names because they were really good guys. There was 4 of them, and they saw my art, and they were like, they showed me around the studio, and I was just like in awe, just oh my god, I want to work here. I want to do what you guys do. And they saw my art, and they're like, yeah, just keep trying hard, keep working at it, keep practicing, and you'll be here. You'll be there.
I told my daughters.
Yeah, and that's all it is. I mean, that's with everything, right? Like,
right.
you will not learn jiu-jitsu is an ongoing, same thing with art. It's an ongoing thing. You constantly need to practice, because if you don't, or even if you pause, you'll start forgetting. So yeah, I just kept trying hard, and I told my parents, like, I don't want to be a doctor. I don't want to, I want to do art for a living, and ended up in an art school, and yeah, got an internship. So
where did you go to art school?
Otis of Art College and Design.
Where's that?
That's in Marine Del Rey.
Okay.
So it's not too far
LA.
away from here.
Okay.
Yeah, it's known to be one of the best fashion schools.
Okay.
I didn't go there for fashion. I went there for art. Yeah, so I went to Santa Monica College, got my AA, saved some money there, so I don't have to do the 4 years. I was able to transfer, or they took me as a sophomore, and I went under illustration. So I used to love just drawing illustration, like stuff that they do for magazines. And then I was getting close to my junior year, and I'm like, I saw the industry change. You start seeing 3D films, you start seeing visual effects, and I went to one of my favorite illustrator teachers, and I asked him, I'm like, look, I really want to be able to get a job after I graduate.
Your subconscious, huh?
Yeah,
like, this is what I want.
And illustration is there's talented people everywhere. Even in my industry, I feel like I got lucky, but yeah, he was like, you know what, illustration is slowly changing, and I told him about digital media. It was on the floor, so every floor had different majors. I was like, I'm thinking of doing digital media, which is 3D, animation, illustration, everything mixed together. So it's all this huge package that you could learn. And he's like, yeah, you know what? If you really think about it, you should definitely give it a try. So I switched majors, and then that changed my whole thing, where I got really involved in 3D, like 3D modeling, creating characters. I still continued drawing, but I was really immersed in just creating these animated cartoons, which also weren't good enough, but I learned the tools. I learned the tools that you need today when you actually get a job.
What are some of the movies you've worked on?
Oh, man. The bad ones or the good ones?
I guess they're well-known ones, right?
Well, I think the most well-known movie I worked on, or not well-known, but it's the one that won an Oscar, which was Zootopia. So that was my first movie at Disney, which was very special. It was really cool. My favorite film of all time that I worked on was Moana. Also at Disney. It was because there was a few moments where the main character had a connection with her grandma, which I was raised by my grandma for most of my younger years, and that really connected with me. And it was just a beautiful movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then a bunch of like visual effects movies that Edge of Tomorrow, Watchmen, Alice in Wonderland. Oh, there's a lot. I don't remember.
That's it. Wreck-It Ralph, right?
Wreck-It Ralph 2, yeah. We just wrapped that one up, and I'm working on the new one. They finally announced the title. It's called Raya and the Last Dragon, so that's going to be a 2020 release. I didn't get to work on Frozen, which I really wanted to, but they were like, well, the 2020 release needs you, so they put me on that movie, and I kind of been on it since.
Why did you want to be on Frozen?
It's a
tough guy, MMA, jiu-jitsu, fighter guy.
Yeah.
It was the first movie that, it's funny, but I wanted to watch Frozen 2 in the movies with my kids. It was the first movie I took them to when they were little.
The Frozen 1.
Frozen 1, yeah.
Yeah.
And then the Frozen 2 is out now, I think, right?
Yeah.
And I wanted to watch it.
It's actually not actually. It's a good movie. It's very entertaining, and it's what was cool. So my wife and I went, and then it's geared towards children, but it's also geared towards adults. There's a lot of adult humor that kids may not understand, which is good. It's not that it's bad or anything. It was just like overall visually, it's stunning. I'm extremely proud of all the artists that worked